Hey guys, this is Golden Knight 27 doing another deck profile for you guys. This one's going to be kind of a combination video. This one is going to be my locals deck of the week, and then it's also going to be an updated version of my Red Eyes deck profile. So I'm looking forward to playing this deck versus Cosmo, which I've been running Cosmo the last 3 weeks. So I figured I'd go ahead and give Red Eyes a shot as my main deck. He's been my casual, off the records dual deck to use. So I look forward to playing this one just because this deck is probably the deck that I've played the most. It's slightly altered from the version that I would typically play with friends, just because I've made it a little bit more aggressive and more competitive, where it'll be able to keep up with the decks that I'm going to be facing at the tournament. So I will be using this lovely deck box to hold my cards. Charizard, just figured it was appropriate. Charizard being, a pretty powerful dragon out of Pokemon, so I figured he would be appropriate for Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course I will have the matching sleeves as well. Alright, so on to the deck profile. I'm gonna do 3 of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Reason being, 3 of these is gonna be awesome for this deck, just because the Red Eyes Flare Dragon, that one cannot be used with Red Eyes Fusion if you're trying to fuse from the deck, which is my preferred method of doing it. So 3 of those. 2 Summon Skull, just because I feel like 3 of it is just way too much for me. So I run 2 of them, just because it is a target for the Red Eyes Fusion, because Red Eyes Fusion states that the monsters have to be normal. Next, 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon for its special summoning ability. Has the ability to special summon a dragon from your hand or graveyard once per turn. So if you lose a monster, you can bring it back very easily. And this entire deck, with the exception of Summon Skull and the Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, is going to be an all-dragon deck. Next, 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 1 Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, just because they have excellent effects. Red Eyes Black Flared Dragon I don't really go to too often. Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, I don't go into him too often either, but I do go to him more than I do the Black Flared Dragon. Reason being is his effect is basically a Regeki for any card whose defense is less than his attack. So if this card was a normal monster in the deck, I would run 3 of them. As a matter of fact, I'd run 3 of the Black Flared Dragon, and I'd run 3 of the Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, and I would just completely replace the normal monsters. But these ones I can still use, but 3 of them would be overkill. 2 of the Red Eyes Retro Dragon, just because it's got a really sick effect, and 2 Red Eyes Wyvern, just because I feel that this is still a good card. It can get you out of a bind. If you've got a Red Eyes in the graveyard, you don't have a way to revive it, and you don't conduct a normal summon during your turn, just banish that guy, and look, you've got a Red Eyes all over again. Next, 1 Keeper of the Shrine, and in the last video I believe I was running 2 of those, but just 1 of them now. 1 Dwarf Star Dragon Planeter, just simply because he has the ability to add a Red Eyes to your hand with his effect. So I like using him for that reason. During the end phase, he can add a level 7 dark or light monster from your deck to your hand. And this is one of the MVPs of the deck, and that is Black Metal Dragon. Black Metal Dragon is awesome because he can search out your Red Eyes Fusion when he's sent to the graveyard, or any Red Eyes card except for Red Eyes Black Chick. And he also can be equipped to a Red Eyes monster, which is a really overlooked effect of this guy. He will increase the attack points of that monster, but not only that, the way I see it is, if I'm going to lose one of the other monsters that I have it equipped to, he's going to go to the graveyard as well. So it's a quick way to get him to the graveyard sooner. And the next one big change that I have is now I've got 2 Blackstone of Legends. Last video I only had 1. I was able to acquire a second one. So now I've got 2 of them, and so far so good. I'm seeing it very, very often and testing it out, so I'm glad that I have 2. Next big change, got Kinkabio in there, simply so that I can make Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon, because I can use him in one of the Blackstone Legends, or him in one of the Black Metal Dragons in order to make the Beast Eyes Dragon. So I'll go ahead and get these out of the way, and we will move on to the spell cards. Alright, for the spell cards, I'm going to run 3 Red Eyes Fusion, just simply because Red Eyes Fusion is the best card in the deck. It allows you to fuse from the deck, hand, or field. So that's why I've got the vanilla Summon Skull and the vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragon in there, because I can pull those out of the deck in order to fuse. Alright, next, 1 card to the Redstone and 1 Dragon Shrine. Both of these are awesome for pitching your dragons to the graveyard, your Red Eyes, and the cards of the Redstone gives you the draw power. Next, 2 Twin Twisters, basically because I wanted to run a Foolish Burial in this deck. I couldn't really find very much room for it, just because this deck, in any 40 card deck, can feel clogged. If you just feel like you don't have enough space to put everything that you want to put in the deck in there. So Twin Twisters, if I've got something in my hand that I want to pitch to the graveyard, Twin Twisters is perfect for that. Next, 1 Raigeki for field destruction. If you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything more than a day, you know what that card does. Next, Soul Charge. I removed one of my Call of the Haunteds and put Soul Charge in there. Reason being, Soul Charge is great if I need to bring back multiple monsters at one time. And 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is excellent because it'll send one of my other monsters in my hand to the graveyard, and in exchange I could get the Blackstone of Legend, Black Metal Dragon, or Kinkabio. So that is it for the spell cards. On to the trap cards. We're playing 2 Call of the Haunted, just for the ability to revive monsters. So the reason why I'm running 2 Call of the Haunted instead of 3 is because I replaced the 3rd one with Soul Charge. And then next, 1 Return of the Red Eyes and 1 Red Eye Spirit. Reason why I only do 1 of each is because this one has to be a Red Eyes monster, which won't help me with Summon Skull or Kinkabio or any of the other monsters that may not have Red Eyes in their name. And then Return of the Red Eyes because it limits to normal monsters. So when you have this out on the field and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, then you've got some options. You've got the dragon or the normal. So I like having this in the deck still, but no more than 1 at all. I don't want to see 2 of them. Magic Jammer, just because, you know, it's old but gold, you know. I still use it. Discard a card, negate a spell activation, and destroy it. It's simple, to the point, and it still gets the job done to this day in this game. Next, 1 Dark Bribe. For obvious reasons, negate a spell or trap card activation. Bottomless Trap Hole. And Grand Horn of Heaven, just to take care of some of those pesky summons. This one takes care of a special summon and ends your opponent's main phase, which is awesome. And Bottomless will banish a 1500 or higher attack monster. And the next, 1 Quaking Mirror Force. So Quaking Mirror Force is awesome. I've thought about putting Drowning in one of my decks, but, you know, Drowning, I've got a love-hate relationship for it. I feel that it's a good card if it could be used, but I feel like also, if I'm putting myself in the position where I've got no monsters on the field where Drowning could possibly be usable, I'm probably already losing the duel anyways. So more than likely they're going to have something to take care of Drowning Mirror Force if I'm already in a predicament where I don't have any monsters. So that's why I've got 1 Quaking. It may move up to 2. I haven't decided yet, but as of this moment it's at 1. And next, for the extra deck monsters, I am running 2 of the Archfiend Black Skull Dragons, just because they're excellent. Their effects are amazing. They do burn damage very quickly. They end games very, very quickly, so I love them for that. Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon, just because he's a 3000 monster, and, you know, it gives me another option in case, you know, my fusions are gone. I don't have any more of the Red Eyes Fusion left. I can make this guy with Kinkabio and either, you know, Blackstone of Legend or the Black Metal Dragon. So it gives me another one. It gives me another way to do some more burn damage. So I can't take credit for this guy in this deck. I've seen other people use it, and, you know, I figured if I'm going to be using this at a tournament, why would I, you know, not give myself that option? One Master Key Beetle, one Knorgin, one Utopia. Utopia might get removed out of this if I can pick up something good before the tournament starts. So if there's another extra deck monster out there, I might possibly take him out of the deck, but, you know, he's good for stalls. Evil Swarm Ouroboros for obvious reasons. He can strongly disrupt your opponent's plays. And then Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and Diamond Crab King to get over big stuff. Reason why I'm running this in here is because this has an excellent effect, but the fact that he has to target a monster in order to use it, if I'm going against, say, Cosmo or a deck where their boss monster can't be targeted, he's useless. So Diamond King Crab doesn't target. Detachment material, he gains the extra attack. He switches himself back into defense position when he attacks. Silent Honor Arc in order to steal your opponent's monster. Castell. Gaga Cowboy. So those two are like the standards in almost any deck that runs rank 4 plays. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. This guy is the MVP of the deck. He has the ability to do burn damage to your opponent. Also, anytime they activate a card, makes your opponent think about their plays before they're just going and activating effects. So if they're going off using effects, he's going to help take care of that. And I can't wait to use him this weekend. I should have I should have used him more in my Cosmo decks over the last few weeks when I've been dueling, but the opportunity just hadn't been there in Cosmo. Big Eye, also known as Mr. Steal Your Girl, just because he has the ability to take your opponent's monster. It's an awesome effect. He's got awesome attack points, so I have him. One Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. I know this seems random right now, but you will see that I'm running tuners in my side deck, so this gives me the option to make Red Hot Dragon Archfiend, just because he's going to get rid of some of the pesky monsters that your opponent will have. Alright, so we're going to move on to the side deck. Alright, so I'm siding one Effect Veiler, one Max C, two Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbits. These are the only monsters that I'm siding right now. Veiler just to negate your opponent's monster effects. Max C for draw power. Two Ghost Ogres to destroy effect monsters that my opponent controls. Next, two System Downs. This is going to be for Cosmo. And then even Cyber Dragons, because Cyber Dragon has been known to show up at my tournaments. Pay 1,000 life points, banish all face-up machine type monsters your opponent controls and in their graveyard. So it doesn't target, so Dark Destroyer, goodbye. Forerunner, goodbye. Big Ships, goodbye. That takes care of Cosmo. One Prohibition. Prohibition, I could use this in any deck. Prohibition, if you guys aren't familiar with the card, it's a very, very old card. And it states that you can say one card name, you declare that card name, and that card name cannot be used in the duel while this card is on the field. So Prohibition is awesome. I could call it anything. It could be a Solemn Strike. I could say Cosmo Dark Destroyer. I could say Cosmo Town. I can make this whatever I want. I could say Pantheism of the Monarch, Stormforth. It's literally usable and sideable against almost any deck, so therefore I'm running that. And also Necro Valley. It's going to prevent effects in the graveyard from being activated in the graveyard. So this will help with, you know, say Burning Abyss, Cosmo, Monarchs, the big 3 decks that would give this deck, you know, some trouble. Next, 2 Imperial Iron Wall. Reason being is it prevents cards from being banished at all. So that's going to prevent my opponent from being able to use all those spell cards in the graveyard that Monarchs like to use, and it'll keep Cosmo from banishing their ships from the graveyard in order to special summon smaller versions of themselves. So it takes care of a lot of problems. Dragon's Bind. This card is overlooked. It's awesome because I can select one dragon type monster that I control, and neither myself nor my opponent can special summon monsters who have attack higher than that monster. I'm sorry, with the attack less than or equal to the original attack of the monster that you select. So still good nonetheless. Unwavering Bond and Time Space Trap Hole, just because pendulums still show up. So it gives me something to be able to combat the pendulums with. Alright guys, that is it for the deck. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys are running Red Eyes and what you guys are doing with your Red Eyes deck. So be sure to subscribe, because I'll try to do a deck profile every week if I change my deck at all. If I end up running Red Eyes 2 weeks in a row, you're not going to see me repeating the same deck profile again. I won't do that to you guys. I won't make you guys suffer through that. So that is all. Be sure to also like the video, share it, and you know, get people involved, get more people seeing these videos. And hopefully you guys will check out some of my other content that I've got. I've got more deck profiles. You can check out the old Red Eyes deck profile if you just want something to compare this one to. The old one, I think, is, you know, it's not as good compared to this particular build, even though I wouldn't say that this build is going to be super competitive. But I feel like I'm more comfortable with the Red Eyes deck than I am with Cosmo, even though I'm pretty comfortable with Cosmo. I feel like Red Eyes, everything will come naturally. It'll be like eating, sleeping, and breathing. This deck is going to be reflected in the way that it's played on the tournament. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I'll do a video probably the next day letting you know how well I do with this deck. So locals are on Saturday nights for me, so look out for the recap video on Sunday. And until next time, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Thanks.